Storyboarding. Tell your story through frames. Storyboarding is really important, but we need to start with the script. What you can see on the screen here, this is part of a script for The Empire Strikes Back. Actually, no, this is episode 4. So you can see the way that they mark out the script with the dialogue and with descriptions in between. And that script is going to give you some visual cues about what's happening. And with those visual cues, you can then go ahead and create visuals that will help the director and the filmmakers and whoever's doing the animation understand the flow of the story so that they continue with the continuity of the story throughout. And most high-end films will use a storyboarding process. Now, when you're storyboarding, you're probably working alone, but with a major film production, it's probably a team of people who work on the storyboards. So what they're looking for is quick drawings that will give indications of movement and camera directions and things like that. We'll talk more about that in a bit. So the main action of this story should be depicted in frames. For a storyboard, you want to express the main action in keyframes and secondary actions in between. So, and the size of the frame is the size of your intended delivery medium, either 3x4 or 16:9 or cinematic. So digitally, we can do this with programs like Photoshop and Illustrator. You can also do it with Keynote, or you can do it with PowerPoint. You can do it with Google Slides. There's a variety of different methods. Some people just do it with paper. It's really up to you. Formats. You can use whatever tools and methods you want to build a storyboard. Some people use Post-it notes. You can use index cards, like I was mentioning before, digital storyboards. You can use these applications. There are storyboard applications as well. So you can download them from either the Android store or the Apple store, and you can use them on devices like the iPad or a tablet, or you can use desktop applications. So here you see a typical storyboard frame from The Empire Strikes Back. And you can see visually what's happening here. They have an AT-AT that's being attacked, and you can see a snowspeeder in the background. You can see some of the scenes. Notice the description. There's a scene number, there's a shot number. They have elements that need to be in the frame. So all this is important when it actually comes time to actually shoot the film. So really important stuff being pulled out here. The frame should be numbered and contain some description or motion or establishing scene settings. Notice the arrows in this storyboard. So this storyboard has some descriptions on the right-hand side. It has very close cropped framing for this city scene. And you can see on the left-hand side next to number 13, you can see camera information, pan with swing. And then also you can see on 13B, you can see there's an arrow pointing down so the camera follows the motion. Again, here's another storyboard sequence from episode 4, Star Wars. And you can see this doesn't include a lot of descriptions or notes or anything like that. But what it does include is all the action that's going to happen with the X-Wings and X-Wings moving into position and diving down into the trench. Okay, the style. In the previous, you can see how detailed, almost finished these frames are drawn in the Star Wars examples, but some storyboards are loosely drawn and use stick figures. So here you can see this has a turtle and a jellyfish, and you can see the action is still being described. The frames are just loosely drawn, and you still get a sense of the flow of the story, which is what we want to do. So once you collect all your storyboard frames, you want to make sure the storyboard is flexible After reviewing, you may want to move the scenes around or replace them completely, and this is where a digital tool makes it a lot easier to do that type of thing. Then you want to review the entire storyboard and decide what the best flow is, and keeping the script in mind. You also want to indicate if there's voiceover or if there's music as well as motion. So that's storyboarding in a nutshell. And you will be given an exercise in creating a storyboard for your projects. So I want you to review this material, come back to it before you go ahead and execute a project. Sometimes what happens is that we get excited about a project and we skip this process. And by skipping this process, we miss details and information. So storyboarding is very important.